Hello, dear friends. Today's culinary escapade brings us face to face with a dish steeped in heritage and heart, borscht. Let's roll up our sleeves and cook with purpose and pleasure. To brew a truly memorable Ukrainian borscht, one must start with a broth of real depth. That means a beef leg, rich in marrow and flavor, so off we go to the market to find the perfect cut. Modern Azerbaijani malls are more than just places to shop, they're crossroads of cultures. From spice-laden stall to pristine butcher counters, they hold a rhythm of daily life that's as flavorful as the dish we're about to cook. Ingredients gathered, we return to our hearth. The kitchen calls, and it's time to transform simple produce and cuts of meat into something comforting and extraordinary. Before we delve any deeper into this pot of history and flavor, I kindly invite you to support this culinary journey. If you haven't already, do take a moment to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Borscht has a tale to tell, one of humble beginnings, centuries of adaptation, and unshaken identity. What began as a forage soup evolved into a national treasure, celebrated far beyond the borders of Ukraine. A dish once stirred in peasant kitchens now stands as a symbol of endurance and cultural pride. Borscht has long been a beloved dish across Eastern Europe, but in 2022, UNESCO recognized it as part of Ukraine's intangible cultural heritage, highlighting its special place in Ukrainian culinary tradition. What strikes first is the color. Deep ruby red, almost regal. This bold hue, born of beets, is more than aesthetics. It tells a tale of richness and vibrancy, both visual and nutritional. It's not just a soup, it's a visual poem in a bowl. In some regions, a sprig of parsley atop your borscht isn't just a garnish, it's a blessing. Fresh herbs like parsley or dill lift the entire dish, adding bright, fragrant notes that cut through the richness like a spring breeze. Let's talk about ingredients. Every borscht has its essentials: beetroot, cabbage, carrots, onions, and potatoes. Then comes the protein: beef, pork, sometimes smoked meats, garlic, bay leaves, a splash of vinegar, and of course that dollop of sour cream to crown it all. Borscht is not merely a meal, it is medicine in a bowl. Just glance at what we've gathered. Beets brimming with antioxidants, cabbage full of fiber, garlic to awaken the senses, and hearty beef that fortifies the soul. This dish is a celebration of rustic wisdom. It is old world nutrition spoken in the language of flavor and fire. A good knife is like a trusted companion. It must be sharp, balanced, and ready for any challenge. For those searching for such a blade, I invite you to explore my online shop. Each piece is chosen not just for utility, but for the joy of preparation. Cooking, after all, begins not with ingredients, but with hands and the tools they hold. The broth is no longer silent, the scent that now fills the air. This is the moment when memory begins to build. You breathe it in, and it settles in your chest like warmth on a winter's night. Potatoes enter the pot like quiet guardians of comfort. Their role may seem simple, but it is profound. As they soften, they gently thicken the broth, absorb the surrounding flavors, and lend the dish a richness that soothes and satisfies. They are the humble heart of many peasant dishes, turning soup into sustenance. Shredded cabbage floats in next. It is not just filler. It is the very textural soul of the borscht. As it wilts, it adds body to the broth, contributing a mellow sweetness that dances with the acidity of the beets. Cabbage is the connective tissue of this dish, a bridge between the roots below and the flavors above. And now we pause. The pot simmers gently, the flavors marry, and we allow ourselves a moment of reflection. A cup of tea rests in hand. In this simple ritual lies deep magic. Tea in this context isn't just refreshment, it's a bridge between the quiet patience of cooking and the promise of what's to come. This silence, this sip is part of the recipe. We return to our creation with a bright tang of tomatoes, fresh or concentrated as paste. They dissolve into the soup, bringing not only color but clarity. They lift the richness, add complexity, and stitch the flavors together like thread through a quilt. Now we turn to the base, the sacred beginning of so many great dishes. Onions, carrots, and peppers, slowly sautéed, coaxed into sweetness. As they continue to roast and melt, this blend becomes more than vegetables. It becomes a melody of earth and sun. Carrots offer depth, peppers a hint of brightness, and onions their caramel warmth. You could spoon it onto bread and eat it alone, but today it will elevate our soup to greatness. Two or three bay leaves are slipped into the pot, almost like a prayer. They won't be seen again, but their voice is unmistakable. They lend a soft herbal shadow to the dish, rounding the edges and deepening the entire experience. Now we lift the beef leg from the pot. It has done its sacred work. The marrow has melted into the broth, the meat is fork tender, and the aroma it leaves behind is pure reverence. With careful hands, we cut the beef into hearty chunks. Each piece glistens with the echoes of broth rich with memory. They fall apart under the knife, but hold firm enough to give substance to the bowl. Back into the pot they go, like a chorus rejoining for the final verse. They mingle once more with the cabbage, the potatoes, the beets, each soaking in the other's essence. This is where borscht becomes whole, when everything is returned to the flame for its final act. And just then, the sound of footsteps, guests have arrived, drawn perhaps by the scent that drifted out through windows and doorways like a song. There is something about visitors during cooking that complete the picture. Food is a message, and now the audience has arrived. Come in, make yourself at home. Take a seat, warm your hands. The table awaits. This dish was made for sharing, for stories, for silence between friends, for that quiet smile that comes when a spoon touches your lips and memory rushes in. A final handful of cabbage returns to the pot, this time finer, almost like a mist. It finishes the body of the broth, giving texture and clarity to the last simmer. In this moment, everything aligns. The vegetables, the meat, the intent behind every chop and stir. And then the parsley, bright green, finely chopped, almost floating. It offers its perfume, a grassy sharp lift at the end of a deeply rooted dish. It does not compete, it crowns. We serve deep bowls filled to the brim, a generous swirl of sour cream, melting slightly as it hits the surface, a wedge of crusty bread on the side, ready to dip, to scoop, to savor. The first bite, silence, then a look, a sigh, maybe a smile. It tastes like tradition, like home, like every grandmother's hands and every fire that's ever warmed a family. And so, my friends, we end where all good meals end with gratitude. Thank you for joining me on this journey of flame, flavor, and memory. Until next time, keep your fires kindled and your hearts open.